jobs. Maybe like betting on Canadian kids who are out of work is maybe a better strategy long term for Canada's economic productivity.
The TFW program is failing the grade on multiple different sets of conditions.
Have you ever wondered why so many young Canadians are struggling to find their first job? Why are businesses bringing in temporary foreign workers instead of hiring locals? What if this is not just about jobs, but about the future of Canada's economy, wages, and your opportunities? Today, we are going to uncover the truth behind the temporary foreign worker program, why it is failing, and how it could be affecting millions of Canadians like you. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear might change how you think about jobs, wages, and the future of our country.
You cited some figures that I think a lot of Canadians are concerned about, but that haven't often been heard at this committee, which is that we have a youth unemployment crisis. Many Canadian youth are seeing that opportunity for a first job sort of evaporate as there's become more of a heavy reliance on temporary foreign workers, be it students with work permits or through various streams of the TFW program. Is that what you're hearing through your organization?
Do you know why young Canadians can't find jobs anymore? Have you ever wondered why it is so hard for young Canadians to get their first job? Why are companies relying more on temporary foreign workers instead of hiring Canadian youth? This question matters because it directly affects your life, your career, and your future in Canada. Many young Canadians are applying again and again and still getting no response. If you want to know what is really going on and why this is happening, you need to keep watching this video. The answer is simple but serious. Many businesses find it easier and cheaper to use temporary foreign workers instead of hiring and training Canadians. These programs reduce costs for employers and remove the need to invest in young workers. As a result, Canadians lose job opportunities. Key points you need to understand. 1. Canadians are not being chosen first for many entry-level jobs. 2. Temporary foreign worker programs make labor cheaper for businesses. 3. Less training for Canadians means fewer long-term careers. Direct effects, wages, and Canada's future.
I was just speaking anecdotally at the University of British Columbia last week, and the kids just wanted to talk to you about the hundreds of resumes they're sending out and going absolutely nowhere. We have an obvious issue. Former Bank of Canada Governor David Dodge warned us that the last thing we want is a bunch of low productivity businesses hanging on because we provide them cheap labor. Not only is it bad for Canadian productivity, but there's also a big risk that it contributes to wage suppression and job displacement for Canadian workers.
Do you think hard work still guarantees a job in Canada? Have you ever sent out resumes again and again and heard nothing back? Because you were told that if you study hard and apply for jobs, you will get a chance. But what if that promise is no longer true? If you want to understand why so many applications are going nowhere and what is really happening in the job market, your answer will be next. The answer is that the system is not working the way it used to. As Alexander Brown explains, students are applying for hundreds of jobs with no results. When businesses rely on cheaper labor instead of investing in Canadians, productivity goes down and wages get suppressed. This does not just hurt young workers. It hurts the entire economy and pushes Canadian workers out of good jobs. Key points you need to focus on. 1. Many Canadians are sending hundreds of resumes with no response. 2. Cheaper labor reduces the need to invest in Canadian workers. 3. Wage suppression makes life more expensive for Canadians.
The TFW program is failing the grade on multiple different sets of conditions. It is drawing the ire of international rights organizations.
Testimony in this panel, and which I kind of sympathize with. There are regions in the country where there is a need for labor. My question is, I think rather than saying, how do we indefinitely continue to juice the supply of temporary labor while we have a youth jobs crisis?
Is the temporary foreign worker program failing Canadians? Have you ever wondered if the program that brings foreign workers to Canada is helping or hurting local jobs? It directly affects young Canadians looking for work, wages, and the future of our economy. If you want to know why experts and international organizations are criticizing the Temporary Foreign Worker Program, your answer is next. The TFW program is failing on many levels. As Alexander Brown mentions, it is drawing criticism from international rights groups. Rather than supporting Canadian youth, the program continues to prioritize temporary foreign workers, even in regions where local youth are unemployed. This means jobs are lost, wages are suppressed. Key points you need to focus on. 1. The TFW program is not working as intended. 2. It receives criticism from international organizations. 3. Young Canadians lose job opportunities where local labor is available.
Why isn't the government and industry working with the government to, over time, maybe over a few year period of time, look at labor mobility strategies and youth training strategies so that in economic regions, where there is a need for labor, we can incent people where there's like 20-25% youth jobs to move. Would you recommend that?
Absolutely. My concern, first and foremost, and I appreciate the concerns of others, is the Canadian workforce, is Canadian jobs, is our record in continued unemployment.
Could better training and labor mobility help young Canadians? Have you ever thought that Canada might be missing an opportunity to help young people find jobs through training and labor movement? Many regions have job openings, but local youth are not being given the chance to fill them. If you want to understand how better strategies could change the future for Canadian workers, as Michelle Rempel-Garner and Alexander Brown discuss, government and industry could work together to create labor mobility strategies and youth training programs. This would help young Canadians move to regions where jobs are available, gain valuable experience, and start their careers. Key points you need to focus on. 1. Many regions have job openings, but local youth are not employed. 2. Labor mobility could move youth to areas with job demand. 3. Training programs would give young Canadians experience and skills.
Can we not be putting these resources into upscaling, to training, to working within the provinces, I'd love for, the best in BC to be working in Quebec right now. I don't want there to be shortages anywhere, but we have a massive backlog of unemployed young Canadians, of unemployed Canadians that we surely need to continue to give the first crack to.
Should Canada give local youth the first chance at jobs? Have you ever wondered why some young Canadians are still unemployed, even when jobs are available? It affects your future, your income, and your chances to build a career in Canada. If you want to know how this problem could be fixed and why it is so important for the country, Canada has a huge backlog of unemployed youth who deserve the first opportunity. Alexander Brown explains that, rather than prioritizing temporary foreign workers, resources could be used to train local youth and help them move to regions with job shortages. This not only helps young Canadians get their first job, but also strengthens the economy and ensures wages are fair. Key points you need to focus on. 1. Canada has a large number of unemployed young people. 2. Prioritizing local youth could fill job shortages across provinces. 3. Training and mobility programs would help youth start careers and boost wages and productivity.
You talked a bit about wage suppressions. Do you think that, over time, phasing out the TFW program, and I'm talking specifically about economic regions that have high employment, phase it out, abolish it, but instead start focusing on labor mobility and jobs training, specifically for youth and trades, that's maybe like betting on Canadian kids who are out of work is maybe a better strategy long-term for Canada's economic productivity and wage equity?
Is focusing on Canadian youth better than relying on temporary workers? This heading asks whether investing in training and job opportunities for local young Canadians is a smarter long-term strategy than continuing to rely on temporary foreign workers. It matters because it affects wages, career opportunities, and the future economy of Canada. The answer is yes. By phasing out dependence on temporary foreign workers in high employment regions and focusing on labor mobility and youth training, Canada can boost economic productivity, ensure fair wages, and give young people the first chance to start their careers. This approach helps build a stronger, healthier economy for everyone.
A healthier economy, it'll give these kids a hand up because they're failing to launch in record numbers. And I think we all know where that could go. I worry about them socially, where that's going to lead if they're alienated and unemployed and stuck at home. And so that has to be the play. We have, our economic experts telling us, that's what you're supposed to do for a living. We used to pay more, offer more, train more. I hope that we return to that and this doesn't just become the new model that we rely on.
What happens if young Canadians are left unemployed? Have you ever wondered why some young Canadians are still unemployed, even when jobs are available? This matters because it affects their future, confidence, and ability to start a career. Experts warn that leaving youth unemployed can create social and economic problems for individuals and the country. Supporting young people through training and job opportunities can give them a hand up, boost productivity, and strengthen the economy. If we ignore this, we risk more alienation, lower wages, and a weaker future for Canada. Key points you need to focus on. 1. Unemployed youth miss valuable work experience. 2. Lack of jobs can hurt confidence and social well-being. 3. Training and opportunities boost economic productivity. 4. Supporting youth benefits both individuals and the country.
We have a indentured labor underclass, and I don't think that's how immigration was supposed to work in Canada. I think people who come to Canada should have the ability to have full economic participation and not participate as a laborer that's indentured to one company. Some people will say, well, we need to open up the TFW program and make it more flexible. But for me, I see, a 20% unemployed youth labor force.
Is the TFW program creating an unfair labor system? Have you ever wondered if the temporary foreign worker program is hurting Canadians? This matters because it affects young people looking for jobs and the fairness of the labor market. Experts say that relying too much on temporary workers can create an indentured labor class and limit opportunities for local youth. Giving Canadians first chance at jobs and reducing dependence on TFW workers can improve wages, boost career opportunities, and make the economy stronger. If we want fairness and growth, this change is essential. Key points you need to focus on. 1. The TFW program can limit job opportunities for Canadians. 2. Over-reliance on temporary workers creates an indentured labor class. 3. Prioritizing local youth boosts wages and careers. 4. This change is important for a stronger Canadian economy.
And I think that the first goal should probably be to abolish the TFW program. Make sure we're looking at economic regions that have special needs, but look at more labor mobility and youth training programs. Would you agree with that recommendation?
Yeah.
Should Canada abolish the TFW program and focus on local youth? This matters because it affects young people looking for jobs and the fairness of the labor market. Experts say that relying too much on temporary workers can create an indentured labor class and limit opportunities for local youth. Abolishing or reducing the TFW program in areas with high employment and investing in local workers can boost economic productivity, improve wages, and create more stable jobs. This strategy helps both young Canadians and the country as a whole. Key points you need to focus on. 1. Reducing TFW dependence gives local youth more job opportunities. 2. Labor mobility and training can fill regional job shortages. 3. Investing in Canadians boosts wages and productivity. 4. This approach benefits both individuals and the national economy.
Yes, and we have price to income ratios in our country right now that I believe are 10 to 1. And if we want to recruit the world's best and brightest, if we want to bring in high skill in our temporary foreign worker program, they're going to need homes. They're going to need doctors. They're going to need incentives. As it stands, we're inviting people over. It's like we haven't cleaned up the house. The oven's not on. Like the conditions are, there's a hole in the air mattress. Like we have so much to improve. And that starts by doing right by our workforce.
Thank you very much.
Is Canada ready to support high-skill workers and local labor together? Have you ever wondered if Canada is really prepared to handle both high-skilled temporary workers and local job needs? This matters because it affects the economy, housing, wages, and the ability to attract the world's best talent. Experts say that without fixing local labor and infrastructure. First, bringing in foreign workers can create more problems than solutions. The video shows that Canada has to clean up the system, ensure housing, doctors, and proper support for both local workers and temporary foreign workers. If we get this right, the country can grow stronger, boost the economy, and give young Canadians a fair chance to start their careers. If you found this video useful and want to stay updated on how Canada's job market and immigration policies affect you, make sure to subscribe to my channel. We cover news, analysis, and insights that directly impact your future.